Good morning, Rabbi Saya, Freilich and Shushan Purim. 25 minutes away, 17 miles away. They're celebrating right now. We're also going to celebrate a little bit with them. Le'ilu nishmas imi mirasi rusbas Mordechai. Today, shir is sponsored by Yossi Klein in honor of a true Lamed Vav Tzaddik, Mordechai Ashkenazi. Which, by the way, I spoke to him before Purim, and he said he's doing the night shift for Hatzalah. He's constantly doing something. And הכרת, הטוב to the Stefansky Family, Yossi Klein. Oh, forgot to prepare this. Meanwhile, I'll show you guys. This is a picture of Rabbi Kesher Nafshi. I forgot his name. Does anybody know his name? Yosef, where's Yosef? And Yeshua Aaron Price. He's no longer the sponsor of the Turning of the Daf. He's no longer part of the Daf. It wasn't my decision. He was thrown out. That was the board's decision. I had nothing to do with it. Everybody's like looking this serious. Wow. Halavai.
Dude.
Yeah. Listen, guy goes without a mask, he's thrown out of here. You go without a mask, but not on your nose, you get thrown out of here. You're tossed out like our... Yeah, it's not going to be me, it's going to be the board. It's going to be the board. Rabbi say here, I got to show you this voice note. I was rolling on the floor, only because you hear the guy's wife in the background. It's Shabbos! It's Shabbos! What people don't do. To send a thing on Shabbos. The guy's sending me a voice note. Listen, you got to hear how it gets louder. It's Shabbos! Yisroel! Shabbos! Okay, listen.
It's 5:40 now. It's ready 10 minutes after Lechtende. My wife lit candles for Shabbos ready. But I have 15 minutes, 18 minutes for Shkir. I'm leaving you a message. Lechtige Pirim, Simcha Tumit, I love you. You're the biggest Ma'abed story in the world. I listened to Yeshia at 2:30 this afternoon. There were 472 viewers on YouTube. I presume there's many more on Torah Anytime, on all that. My wife told me to shut up. So I tell you, okay, Rebelli, I love you. And this is, you are, as they say in Monsi, it is my wife's in Shabbos. Okay, Rebelli, this is, you are the person that gave me life after life. I thought life was, enjoying myself, photography, chilling out. But when I found you a year ago, less 1 week, because it was a week after Corona, a week after Purim, I found you. I really started living life. And my wife is really excited to know that you are the person that changed my life. B'Shem, my wife, my children, my sons-in-laws that are sitting in front of me now, I wish you a Simchas Pirim, a Lechtige Tumid. You should be Ma'abed Torah, as the Stipler told you when you were a child, you should be the Gadol Hador.
You didn't say that then.
You already surpassed that already. You are the God Ladar.
You should be Moichel.
You are the person that is Ma'abed Torah for everybody. Okay, fine. Zayge bench, Rebelli, I will speak to you next week, Mr. Shem.
All right. Anyway, I was literally rolling on the floor. Yeah, everything. Rabbi Sai. Here's a picture I also got from Purim. It's very interesting. Both of these people we're speaking about today. This is Mordechai Ashkenazi with a beautiful yarmulke, this velvet yarmulke over here. And Moshe Apter, what? Oh, you guys noticed that I put it on?
Not until you said it.
Oh, okay. No, his yarmulke slipped back a little bit, and he told me, it looks like, don't worry, I got your back more. And this is Moshe Apter from Torah. It still looks, hey, go on now. You'll see. It looks like you don't have yarmulke. Go back on. Say something. No? That's it. This is say, oh, shkoyach. Thank you. Beautiful. So anyways, Moshe Ata got stuck in Muncie, and he took good care of him. So today, one of the... Whatever. A red beret. Okay, we could have done a little Purim shtick, but okay. These are a bunch of guys. What does Shikarim do on Purim? They watch the daf here. Though we think, watching the daf, here it is, right over here. Unbelievable. In the middle of a Suda. I don't know. Got the picture. Maybe Mark knows from. Do we have time? Yeah, this is a good email. Rabbi says, send in the good emails. Send them in. Dear Rabbi Stefansky, not Rabbi, okay. As an anonymous viewer of your daily all daf shir in New Jersey, I was looking forward to meeting you during our family's planned trip to Israel for Pesach. Unfortunately, min hashamayim loy misayim biyodi, and our trip will not come to fruition due to corona-related extenuating circumstances. I therefore want to let you know, as part of your upcoming Hadron Leperik Mishahaya, that you are zoich to reach and teach a group much larger than you know, individuals like me who study Daf Yomi in the morning and return to review it with you in the evening in order to benefit from your imitable style and presentation. This guy did not go to Panovich. Truthfully, on a personal level, your shir accomplishes two goals. One, chazara. Two, visualization. For both aspects, I thank you profusely, and I'm still looking forward to... Why these complicated words? Rabbi side. Looking forward to meeting you in person for a combination of Riyah and Shmiya. Brocha vehatzlacha memerchakim betikva l'sayim pesachim derech ha'internet l'terot b'karov mitoch brius v'oish ad v'lidai. You see, I can read that stuff. A member of your international fan club, Yishkoyach, who is this? It doesn't say a name. Anonymous. Oh, it says anonymous. Okay. I might have written myself. I want to tell you a moiridik maisa that happened. I was involved in this story. As you know, we distributed money on Purim to the Chavri HaKoilel. The MDY Koilel, they really deserve it. They learn really, really stark. And we have Donnie Fine in the house here. He donated some of the money that he raised. He raised over 60,000 shekel, and he gave out to countless, and it was beautiful. Each person got a shalchmanas and an envelope. Beautiful. We raised from 25 different individuals gave, and like I mentioned, some people gave very, very large amounts. And Baruch Hashem, we're able to give a very mechubadik amount. Most guys got the same amount. The guys that went through the program and did the tests, and don't forget, they do the 30 daf a month, plus they do a cumulative. In other words, they're doing from the beginning of brachas all the way through Pesachim daf tzadik test. That's a ton of material to remember, and the tests are very, very difficult. Brachas, Shabbos, Irvin, Pesachim. So, Eliyahu Jacobs, he's one of the guys in the Koil, a very stark guy. He takes the envelope in his hand and he says, I would like to guess how much is in this envelope. Sure, go ahead. I think there's going to be 7,450 shekel in here. So I said, okay, go ahead, count it. Counts. 7,460 shekel. He's off by 10. What's pshat? What somebody told you? No. Last night, after the Megillah, he's walking in the street and he finds an envelope on the floor. And on the envelope it says $1,800 and 1,500 shekel. And he did the math, but 7,540 shekel came out to. And he worked hard to find out who this person is. It's a simon, since it was written the amount and this and that, and it's an envelope, he's going to look for the person. And he found the person. I think I know the guy. And he said that since he was Mekayim the mitzvah of Shavas Aveda, he could have just pocketed it. He knew right away, as soon as he saw this envelope, it's going to be the same exact amount. And he was off by 10 shekel. And the exchange rate changed. He might have been not off at all. I don't know where he got the exchange rate. The insight you see from this, and this is what he was saying, is that
the money was in the envelope that he found? He found $1,800?
Yeah, it was in the envelope, $1,800 and 1,500 shekel. You can go ask him, Eliyahu Jacobs. And that's the amount that we distribute to him. I'm not saying that you got the same amount, Laivi. Each person got different. No, most of the people got the same, those who did all the tests and everything. So, the insight is, and he said this, is that it doesn't matter what you do if you think that you're going to cheat in business, you're going to steal, you're going to trick somebody to get the deal done, it's not going to work. You might get the money right now, but eventually, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to take it away from another place. You're going to lose it somewhere else. At the end of the day, what you're meant to get, that's what you get, and that's it. He got the little extra reward, the 10 shekel reward. Nah, a little extra. I got it. Okay, beautiful. All right, so that's the Maisa. Also, somebody mentioned that yesterday I started saying something and I lost myself. I saw that I have to say it and then I went into something else. Real quickly, there was a riddle. How is it possible that a woman is an Eishes Ish? Complete Eishes Ish, she needs a get. When her husband dies, she doesn't have to sit shiv on him. And to the point where she could bring a Korban Pesach, she's not Ba'avel, she's not Ba'aninos. So the Maharsham talks about it's based on yesterday's Tosfos on the bottom over here. Tosfos says the last words on Tosfos, Kedamrinon Shlomim Bizman Shu Shalem. A person has to be whole when he brings a carbon, meaning not a person that's in Aninos. So there was a story, very interesting story, that there was a certain government that said, let's be mean to all the almanas. Let's kick them out of here. We don't want them. They're a nuisance. We don't want them. They're weighing down the economy. Get them out. So the idea was to marry them off to old men. Halachically, marry them off. Go, do a chuppah b'kiddushin, marry them off. And halachically, they were married. The government came, saw there was an official, there was a rabbi, so they were married. However, since they didn't live together, so there's no avelos, there's no tsar when the guy died. Yes, there's tsar because now she might get kicked out of the country, but it's not related to the tsar of losing a loved one. And memela, the psak is that you don't sit shiva on such a husband. You have to get a get from such a husband, but you don't sit shiva. As Taisa says, you have to be shalom, and that's not. Okay, I thought it was a very interesting case.
They did that with colleges, that they wanted unmarried people to have to be in the dorms. That wasn't a makom snias. So a lot of people did civil marriages.
Oh, Veizmir.
They did civil marriages
Wow.
to get them out of the dorm.
There's a Yerushalmi that says that Reb Tarfon married 300 women because they were so poor. He married them in order for them to be zoicha in truma.
That's why it's such a big capital.
So, Yoni Meisels in the house is tremendous simcha. Be'emet. Shkoyach, Yoni Meisels is the guy from the money exchange that learns Torah all day long in the money exchange. I'm not kidding. Anytime you walk in there, he's doing the daf. It's on his screen. And when a customer comes in, pause, changes the money, goes weiter. So it's a tremendous chus that he's here. It's used to be every single day. And now because of business and everything else and his family, but Yishkoyach for coming when you can. I guess Shushan Purim is the day off. No money changing Shushan Purim. Okay, Givaldik.
No money left.
No money left. Zokt the Gemara. We're holding by the Gemara in the bottom of Tzadik Ches Amud Beis. Today we're going to finish off Misha Haya. It's about Pesach Sheni. And jumping into Arvi Pesachim, amazing Perek, finishing it off, Erev Pesach. Tana Rabbanan, Amar Lahen v'Amar Loi. So we had 4 cases in the Mishnah, very, very similar cases, but each one had a different variation to the case, that the group of people lost their Korban Pesach. And they send the guy out, or a guy sends himself out, depending on the case, to look for their Korban Pesach. He finds it, doesn't find it. They might have brought their own Korban Pesach without him knowing, not knowing. So 2 of the last cases. Amar Lahen v'Amru Loi. This would make most sense, l'chayra. He tells them, listen, I'm going to look for the Korban Pesach. If I don't find it, please bring a second Korban Pesach and have me in mind. And they say to him, if you find the original, please make sure that we're part of your original. What's the halacha? Oichel min harishain. So he eats from the first one. If he's first, they eat from the first. And what happens to the second carbon? What happens to the second carbon that they brought, just in case? The security carbon. You have to burn it. There's nothing to do with it. They're all part of the first, so you burn the second one. That's a major problem. Now, what if nobody said anything? He went on his own to find the carbon. They didn't know about it. He didn't make a deal with them. They didn't make a deal with him. Einon achroin ze lo ze. Each one eats their own carbon. And then the story is great. So no carbon goes to waste. Says the Gemara. Mikan omru chachamim. This is where chachamim say, Yofe shtikol chachamim. Being silent is beautiful for the wise. Kal v'chomer l'tipshim. Certainly the fools should be quiet. In Eretz Yisrael they say, if you will be quiet, if you'll quiet, then people might think you're stupid. But if you open your mouth, people will know you're stupid. So it's a lot better to be quiet. Kava choymer letipshim. Shenemar evil macharish.
It's Mark Twain. Better to...
Yeah, so how do you say it?
Open your mouth and remove all doubt. That's the line. Better than to open your mouth and remove all doubt.
Mark Twain.
Open your mouth and prove it.
You know, we were once...
And remove all doubt.
This reminds me of another Maisa. Reminds me of Maisa. We were once in a shir here, right behind me is the shul. That's where we used to daven, or I used to daven. No, I still daven. I'm going to come eventually, before Corona. And Rabbi Pesachim gets up and he says a shir, and he says, "Oh, there's a Mordechai Ashkenazi, where a guy won the lottery, a whole thing." And in the middle of the Maisa, Stefansky goes, "That's a movie! The name of the movie is like, oh," he said, "I saw it in the Sefer."
You just did mamish not to say it. Okay? That's not wrong. Slow down. Okay?
You say the story. No, because you just did it to me, so I remember the Maisa. I said, they said, oh no, it's Mark Twain. Shkoyach. Now, where should I put myself? I'm so embarrassed.
I didn't say that.
Okay. No.
Second of all, it was not saying.
I'm not the person.
I wrote the story
Yeah.
because I saw it in one of those weekly.
Oh, that's right. Okay, let me chazer over. Nachman made the same mistake. He heard it from somebody, and then they called him up, and
it was true. He told me it was a true story.
He called up, and he was mevar is true.
And then somebody called me up.
Hamodia, he wrote it.
From Efrat. Said
Chutzpah.
It's a movie. I said it's a bigger pell for me that Efrat.
The guy from Efrat called up. He said, "I just made a siyum."
Nobody from Hamodia could complain because who in Hamodia watches movies? So, but that point was that the guy called and said it was a
movie.
And so
what was the name of the movie?
I don't remember, but I don't know the name of the movie. But the movie, it was an old movie. But the point was that when I called up the people, I said, "What's going on over here?" You said it's true. He said, "I heard it from this family in Harnof." I called the family in Harnof. They said, "We heard it from our uncle." So they said, "Call the uncle." He said, "Ask him if it's true." He said, "I was on a plane." Uncle told him. He saw the movie on a plane. And then he came and he changed it around and he told him it was a true story. And I ended up looking, I wrote a story, ended up being a movie. That's the story.
At least Reb Pessin said on Shabbos and nobody recorded it and everything was good. Oh, all right, listen, next time I make up a mice, I say over a movie or I grab from Mark Twain, just pretend it's Emes. Busha like this, the camera's on me, all these guys okay, fine. No, don't edit it. I'm kidding. It's all good. I just thought it was great. Zog the Gemara. Okay, Hadron Allah Misha Yatam Sheni said the Mishnah Arab Pesachim. No? Okay. Kavachoymer letipshim shenemar evil machrish. A shaita, a fool that's quiet, chacham yichashev. It's a big yisoid. A person can be a big shaita. The fact that he's quiet now makes him into a shtickle chacham. How many people have lost their lives in road rage? You say one word to a guy, you come out, you scream, the guy takes out a gun, boom, boom, boom. It's better to be quiet. Rabbi Victor Miller says it. I actually heard him say once that a guy called him a dirty Jew, and he said to him a really nasty word in English. He said, if a guy talks like that to you, you could say real back. But on the other hand, he said mamish about road rage. He said, just walk away. There's a frum guy that got killed with a hammer because he started up, he decided to show the guy who's boss, and the guy took out a hammer and killed him. So he said, it's not kedai. Huh? Yeah, so, well, that was the reverse. Yeah. Oh. Wow. Tough crowd today. Erase. Wow. I don't know what I do to you guys. Anyways, real quickly, it says in the Gemara that Rav never spoke a sicha b'teila, and it's actually avodas. It says kol amar b'dvarim mevi chet ele matzasi leguf toiv elo shtika. So kitzur, it's kedai to be quiet. You hear? It's kedai to be quiet. Zip that mouth with the joke and not the joke. Shnai shnesaru pischayim. Later, as they said, like Rabbi Yehuda. All right. Of course, Torah. Not only that, the guy learns. He's supposed to say the words. Of course, Torah is different. So we had a case. He had two individuals, Reuven and Shimon. They mixed up the carbon paste. They have no idea what's what. What do? You add. Each person adds. I might have. What happened to all my stuff? Each person adds, I'll jump ahead. Each person adds one guy to his group. hope I have it. Oh. Here we go. You have two animals. I don't know how they got mixed up. They look very different, but they got mixed up. This is the original. These stick guys are the original. So this guy adds, here's Moshe after. I thought this is Mamish Moshe after, no? Does he not look like Moshe after? To me, he looks like Moshe after. The glasses, the payas, no beard. So he adds this guy. And this stick guy adds this chassid, it's Purim, he adds this guy. And what happens is, the original moves to the other carbon. He leaves the guy behind, because it wouldn't make sense to send the new guy over here, because what if he doesn't own this carbon? So he's part of this carbon, and then he says, hey, stick behind, go over here, I'll go to this carbon. Now why does he have to add another guy? Because you cannot leave your carbon for a moment. If you leave the carbon without an owner for a millisecond, the carbon is puzzled. So I bring another guy in, I bring a Moshe after in, and then I move. I go to the next carbon, and then I make a deal with the new guy in there, because I don't have the stick guy anymore. This stick guy goes to that carbon. I make a deal. I say, look, if this carbon is mine, I'll allow you to be part of it. And if this carbon is yours, because you're a new guy here, then let me come into your son was amazing on Shabbos. Shkoyach. Great kids from Fisher's, unbelievable. All right, so that's the case. Leime masnisin de loike Rabbi Yehuda, the sanyo. V'mimat habayis miyois miseh. So, I was very concerned that we're going to finish the daf a little early and we're not going to know what to do. We're going to have to do all these halachas. You warned for a second. What does the Torah say? What happens if you have a very small family, me'at, you have a small household, you add more people, you bring your neighbors and everything is good. The Gemara learns it differently. It should have said, L'mashal, im ma'at habayis. It's a very small house. It says yimat. You take what you have a lot, and you make it smaller and smaller. In other words, it's telling us that you have a large group, people could leave the group. They could go bye-bye, go to another group. They don't like your carbon, they don't like how you're making it, where you're making it, they move on to another group. Rabbi Yehuda says, very important, that one of the original people from the time of designation, as Rashi says, again, what's lekicha? Lekicha doesn't mean buying it. Lekicha means designating it. So we have to remember this, very important. Rabbi Yehuda says there's a lockout period. When we get together, 5 of us get together and we say, let's buy a carbon, and we designate this carbon, we say, this is our carbon Pesach, we're the original group. Somebody comes along 2 hours later, says, can I be part of the group? Sure, come along. But you're not from the original. We're original, you're not. When does that happen? When you say you're designating it. You don't need an original guy. You need a guy. So even Moshe after, he could be a guy. He could stick around. What do you see? Not like Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda says Moshe after is no good. Why? Because he came afterwards. You need an original guy. You need a stick figure to be part of the carbon. This stick guy can't move to the next carbon because now you're leaving this carbon empty, without an owner, without an original owner. You have an owner, but he came too late. The Gemara is going to say, Mordechai. Let me say about Peh. It's Mordechai. Rabbi Yehuda says typically, when you have a group that gets together and they designate a carbon Pesach, that's when they become the original owners. Anybody afterwards is not original. But guess what? When you have one person that buys a carbon Pesach and he says, this is my carbon Pesach, he doesn't lock out the group. You know why? Because he's not enough. According to Rabbi Yehuda, you need at least 2 people in a group. When does he lock out the group? When he adds Moshe after to the picture. When he adds that second person, then he locks out the group. Oh, it's different. This case is different. Typically, Rabbi Yehuda says it locks out, the group becomes a group when he designates it. Over here you have a situation where the guy bought a carbon Pesach, he bought a carbon Pesach by himself, he designated it, but he's not the group because he cannot be a group, he needs 2 people. So when did he become a group? when he added the second person. So the second person he added is an original. So you can leave him behind and move on to the next card because you're leaving behind an original guy. Inside, since you cannot shech the korban pesach on an individual, he wants to add one more guy. This extra guy, this Hasidic fellow, is part of the Chabura, the originals. I'll prove it to you from the Mishnah. Not only will I prove it to you, it makes more sense that the Mishnah is Rabbi Yehuda, not Rabbi Yossi. Why? You guys weren't privileged to be here last night. I love to do this for you. There's a bunch of guys on this table that don't like to come on to Shabbos. Here are 5 groups, and 5 karbanas, and each carbon has 5 people part of the carbon. The blues, the reds, the yellows, the orange, and the purple. All this got mixed up. What do? You mix up the groups. You do one of these. You take one guy from each group and you put them on each carbon. And then 4 of the people, 4 of these dots, look at one guy at the blue, and they say, let's make a deal with you. If it's your carbon, please give us rishus to be part of your carbon. And if not, we're at it. And then the blue comes part of another 4, and they look at the yellow. And that's what they do over and over. The question is, says the Gemara, why does it say that each group has 5 people? What if one group has 4? Look, 4 dots. Blue, red, orange, purple. 4 dots. Later on, what do? You have Moshe after. Here he is. Shalom Aleichem. Moshe. I hope you're watching this. This is the one share he's not watching. Yeah, now you have 5. Why can't you add another guy? The answer is because we're going like Rabbi Yehuda. You can't add anybody. It's too late. Once you get a group together, this is the group. It locks in. These are the people in the beginning, and they designate the carbon. They're locked. You can't add any Moshe afters later on. It's a raya that we go like Rabbi Yehuda, not like Rabbi Yossi. Because if it was Rabbi Yossi, then the Mishnah wouldn't say it's 5 karbanis with 5 people. It's 5 karbanis with however many people you have, and just add them on later on to make sure that it matches the amount of karbanis. You have 5 karbanis, and you only have 4 people per group. Add another guy. It doesn't say that. It says they start out with 5 people per group, or 10 people with 10 karbanis. So that's a raya that we're going adarab, not with doichakit like Rabbi Yehuda. Lechatchila, this is the whole mission is Rabbi Yehuda more so than Rabbi Yossi. None of the groups have 4. We're learning the halach. We just finished the halachas of Pesach Sheni. If anybody wants, they could read this. Very easy to read. Right below the halachas, Piski Hilchas Pesach Sheni Mamish. All the halachas that we learned in the last few weeks. Daf Tzaddik Tes Amud Beis, sponsored by our new sponsors. I hope he's on. Is he on? Eli Dykman. Brocha vehatzlacha for all the MDY team in their everyday lives, for all the hard avodas hakodesh they do. It's for you guys, the MDY team. Sponsored for Shleima for all chaylis, believe it or not. I guess it was a success. A lot of people signed up to the Tehillim group, and a lot of people became healthy. So they're sponsoring another month, or that person, I think it's a guy from Muncie. Sponsor for Refuah Shleima for all Chali Yisrael, especially for our MDY family. Please consider joining the MDY Tehillim group. Tehillim.8mindaf.com. All right. What is Siyata D'Shmaya? Today, we're on Purim in Yerushalayim, Shushan Purim, and we're starting Hilchos HaPesach, Shloishim Yoim Kodem L'Chag. How incredible is that? Hashgacha Pratis. We're starting. Oh, we're off. Someone's going to say, oh, we're off by 1 day. It's Purim. You can't learn that lot. But Purim doesn't count. You learn right after Purim. You start. What do you think? In the time of Chazal, they sat down and be smashed on Purim when everybody's fashikert?
No, 3 months we were learning Pesachim.
No, that's Pesach Sheni. We're learning Pesach Sheni. Arvei Pesachim is about the Leil HaSeder. What do? The matzah, the maror, the haseva, the dal koises. Look, we're going to learn in this mission alone. It's incredible. The Vilna Gaon says that Leil HaSeder, they say, Reb Revda said this, in the name of the Gaon, you could be Mekayim 64 mitzvahs. And Leil HaSeder, the Rabbanans and the Reises, the Brochas, the Seva, the Kaisais, the Sipur Yitzis Mitzrayim, all the stuff. That's what we're going to be learning right now. Now, just as a side point, if you notice here, the reason why we're going to have very, very short dapim. Unusually short dapim for the next 10, 12 dapim. And the reason is because there's a pirush of the Rashbam. The Rashbam was a grandchild of Rashi, the brother of the Rabbeinu Tam. He was the son of the daughter of Rashi. And it seems like that the Svarim are going with the Rashbam over Rashi. The Rashi is very, very short. You have this also in Cheskes Habatim and Baba Basra. It starts with the Rashbam till the end of the Masechta. Over here, it could be it's the Rashi himself. Over there, I think it was a suffix. It's missing. Over here, it could be Rashi, but it's just very bekitzer. So you put it in the Rashbam, which is very barichos. Rashbam is in the whole Shas. Over here, they put it in. But because there's so much, so the dapim are very short.
Maybe it's the other way around.
The what?
The dapim are very short, so you put it in the Rashbam.
Who? The Vilna Shas decided? What's her name? Edel. I see you learn a lot of Chavis Halvavas. Everything's like, no, you thought you found money. No, it's because you were supposed to find it and give it back. Right. Erev Pesachim. Huh? 1520, the diamond were fixed like this and then they just put it around? Well, maybe with the Rashbam.
Yes, I'm saying they fixed it.
But with the Rashbam. All right. Erev Pesachim. We know this parak is Arvei Pesachim. You could even look on top of the page. It says Arvei Pesachim. Oh, the official, thank you, Hillel. The official Mishnah sponsored by Official from Official Catering. Don't be shy. You can jump in and take his name out. It'll still be official, but you can put your name in there instead of Official Catering. If you look at Taisus real quickly, it says Erev Pesachim. You guys seen an Arvei Nicha. You guys seen an Erev. So what does it mean? Erev Pesachim Pesachim. The Erev Pesach that you shecht a lot of Pesachim. Inami Erev Pesach Rishon V'Sheni. Okay, either way you geiris it, but most are geiris Arvei. Erev Pesachim Samach LeMincha. Samach LeMincha we're going to see in the Gemara means we're talking about Mincha Ktana here. Mincha Ktana is 3 hours before Shkia. So Samach means a little bit before that, a half hour before that. You're not allowed to eat food until it becomes dark. Dark meaning, you cannot do an early Pesach, like we do an early Shabbos. Pesach is different. Pesach you have to do it at night, as it says in the Torah, Leil. Night. So what's the inyan? The inyan is, so you come into Leil HaSeder hungry. We're talking about a deraisa of eating matzah. You want to be b'tiyavayin, do it Behidr mitzvah, says Rashi. You do it behidr mitzvah. I'm excited to eat it. I'm starving. I want to eat it. Samach lemincha lo yochal odom ad shetechshach. Afilu ani shebi Yisrael. Now, different thing. Another halacha. Even if a person is extremely poor, lo yochal ad sheyosev. He needs to recline. In those days, they had these little small tables and couches. Recline. V'lo yivchasu loi me'arba koisel shayayin. This ani needs at least the 4 cups of wine. What are the 4 cups? Rashi and the Rashbam. Voitzesi, the 4 lashonis of Geula. Voitzesi eschem, v'itzalti eschem, v'ga'alti eschem, v'lokachti eschem. In Va'era. Va'afilu min ha'tamchui. Even if a person is so poor that he takes from the tamchui, this kupa. We here in Ramat Shemesh, they raised over 2 million shekel yesterday, just in one day alone, which is beautiful. But unfortunately, there's more than 400 families in Ramat Shemesh that are dependent on the kupa or benefit from the kupa. So, but they raised a lot of money. I mean, if you divide 2 million shekel, I don't remember, it comes out to 2,000 something. It's not that much per family, but they raised a lot of money. It's a lot of money for Eretz Yisrael, 2 million. We have a kupa, we have a tamchui. The tamchui is for a really poor person who's passing by, so to speak. He takes off this tamchui. Now, what's interesting is that Rashi brings down that a person who's that poor and he can't afford 4 cups of wine, it's not the pshat that the tamchui has to give him 4 cups of wine. It's more than that. He has to sell his suit and rent himself out, says Rashi. to be Mekayim the mitzvah of Dalet Kaisis. That's how important Dalet Kaisis are. He has to borrow money. He's that poor. He's that stupid. Poor. Get rid of his suit. Get rid of his hat. Whatever he has, get rid of, so you could buy Dalet Kaisis of wine. Obviously, if he gets it from tzedakah, great. But even if he doesn't get it from the tamchui, he has to make sure that Pesach doesn't go by without 4 cups of wine. Ask the Gemara, my area, Arvei Pesachim, afilu Arvei Shabbos Aviyam Tovim Nami. At my daughter's chasana, that was like more than 3 years ago, in New York, I was mortified. I'm not used to this. All of a sudden, it was in Chicago, but by the what do you call it? Not the Shever Brochas, but Shever Brochas also, but the Ofruf. All of a sudden, they come in with Toyamel. I don't know about these things. I'm a Litvak from Bnei Brak. Toyamel. You should have seen the Suda an hour before Shabbos. Kugel and Chalt and Kishka. Like, what is going on here? I thought you're not supposed to have a Suda. I'm Oretz. Toyamel. Anyways, they might be okay. They might be all right, these guys. Let's see what the Sugi says. But it says over here, L'chayra, on Erev Shabbos, you shouldn't eat such a big Suda. The Sanya. There's an Indian to come into Shabbos Kodesh when you're hungry. Shabbos Kodesh, you want to eat the meal. Divrei Rabbi Yehuda. The good news is, Rabbi Yossi Omer, and there's a hay over here because that's the halacha. Not a problem. You could eat all the way until Shabbos. However, I just want to pause it for a second. That's the halacha. You could eat. They're not over or anything. But there is an inyan, there's a mitzvah to come into Shabbos when you're hungry. Could be people know, a little kegel is not I'm going to come in, I'm starving anyways, I'll come in with a geshmak taiva. That's good. But just remember, there is an inyan to come into Shabbos hungry and toiv l'suda. Now, Shabbos is not a deraisa to eat. Most of the suda, most people say there's no deraisa. So that's why it's not as chomer as Pesach. Pesach, we have the deraisa of matzah, there were more makbid. Omer Ravuna. We're going to have this Rav Huna on Daf Kuf on top, so you can remember it here. Rav Huna says, right, a real Suda, like taking a nash, taking this. I'm saying this Tayameh was catered, the whole thing. No, I'm not talking about...
They're always hungry. 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly, I'm saying. That's what I said. I don't want to say. The guys that know themselves, this kugel child is a joke. I'm going to be starving in a half hour. All right. This goes according to Rabbi Yossi. The Omar, our Mishnah goes according to Rabbi Yossi that on Shabbos you go and eat as much as you want. Pesach, Mishum Chiyuv the Matzah, Moida. Rabbi Yossi agrees that Erev Pesach one should not eat. What do people do today? The people are starving Erev Pesach. So you eat vegetables, you eat like small food, not a Suda, not Kiveh Suda. You eat something, but certainly not matzah, as Tosfos brings. We had this, it's a very strong lashon that if somebody eats matzah on Erev Pesach, ki'ilu boyel arusasoi bebeis chamev. Jumping the gun, it's not appropriate to eat matzah Erev Pesach. Rav Papa Omar, afilu teima Rabbi Yehuda. This could go according to Rabbi Yehuda. Hasam b'arvei Shabbos v'yom tovim min mincha u'lemala u'da'aser. From mincha, from exactly mincha time, which is 3 hours before Shkia. Samach lemincha shari. However, a half hour before that, you're allowed to eat. Abo be'erev Pesach, afilu samach lemincha nami also. Everybody's made another takana. Give it another half hour before that, you shouldn't eat. Ask the Gemara. Ube'erev Shabbos. Samach lemincha shari. What? You're allowed to eat exactly 3 hours before Shkia. Vatanya lo yochal adam erev Shabbos v'yom tovim mitesha shoysul lemalo. Which is 3.5 hours before Shkia. You're not allowed to eat already half hour. You also should add that half hour. The Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yossi who told you that this 3.5 hours before Shkia is the right one? Maybe we're the right one. Dilma mishabashtahi. Maybe it's a mistake, and it should really say 9.5 hours and on. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful, wonderful day. Shema Alois, Mimarkim Kosicha Adinoi. Adinoi, Shema Bekoli Dinas Adinoi. Ima Benois Tishmoyo Adinoi Amoid. Chas Nichol Montiverei. How's Purim in New York? Rabbi Yisrael? It was okay? Manishma. I wasn't sure. You wanted me to say, not want to say, but it was.
You know, Simcha is a trend.
So do you remember saying, leaving that voice note?
Every week.
I remember leaving a voice note, but I don't know.
Who?
What's the Shabbos? I don't know.
He does? I had a dream to do that. I had a dream. On my dream,
Like, what's it called? What's the organization?
the Manachai.
No, on Lachish.
He makes that much food?
He makes like.
It's very expensive.
If I have a family, I know a family that needs food for Shabbos, I call them up Wednesday.
Real good food, good food. I wanted to do that. That was my dream once. I actually spoke to people, but I don't have time now.
Give away so much.
What he has a shtickle.
He does, but that's not the point. Like,
Wow,
it's incredible.
unbelievable! It is a tremendous chesed.
So much energy.
There's a guy that we had for Shabbos, a boy, and his father. It's very interesting. 2 boys that came. We had 7 boys for Shabbos by us. 2 of them, their fathers are part of the shir. And one of them came on Purim, and he came today again. Weichbrod, Simcha Weichbrod. And a guy just came over to me to tell me that Simcha Weichbrod gives out hundreds of meals every Shabbos. He makes food for Aniyim, and he gives them out. Hundreds of meals. I had a plan. Remember I had a plan like that to make food? I'm sure. He just moved to Eretz Yisrael about a year or 2 ago.
Oh, so he used to do the brisk catering in Brooklyn. He used to cater by Merkaz HaSimcha.
Because they say, he's just said it's very, very good food. So he's a caterer. So he took his catering skills and used it. Wow, it's unbelievable. Tremendous zah. Yeah. We're running out of time. This daf was very long. We're running out of time. Yishkoyach Rabbi Yisrael for the voice note that you probably I played it because I figured you don't remember that you sent it, so I played it.
Tonight, I open my phone and I see I got a voice note. And I'm Eli Stefansky listening. I'm like, Scheiße, what did I say? I don't know if they listen to it.
I thought it was hilarious. I was mamish laughing because you hear your wife, Shabbos, Yisrael, Shabbos.
We made this year start 3 o'clock. We went through the 11 nights. And we had a meeting in the house. The Kibbutz Shabbos Ma'ariv. Of course, Ma'ariv was totally off the rockets. We were drinking and singing and dancing back to Ma'ariv. I made Kiddush without a hakodesh. I made Moitzi. And then I passed out in the middle of nervous, whatever.
It's a good thing you didn't send me a message on Shabbos.
I woke up 2:46 a.m. on the kitchen floor.
What time is it? We have to finish this session. Do you guys see what's going on behind me? The Chazan already is davening Shachrus already. The Chazan.
I thought the meeting starts at 8:05.
8:05. Caused damage here. Caused damage. A lot of chairs had stuff that had the TVs, Baruch Hashem, are clean. They got up on a ladder. They cleaned up the TV screens, everything. We had a bird stuck in the Beis Medrash's entire Purim, and he's fashikert. And
I bet you had good wine.
לא כל אחד, יש רק אחד.
It's a monitor, it's not a TV.
That's right, it's a monitor. What time is it? Is it 8:05? 8:05 and a half. All right, Rabbi Yisai, my time's up. Shmuli Lemer, Afrelach and Shushan Purim. Who else do we have here? No. Yeah, we are. We're saying Tachnu. Yeah. It's very sad. My daughter is only a few miles away, and she's celebrating Purim right now. It takes me 25 minutes to get from here to her house. With the Lexus, it's 25 minutes. Regular car is 30. All right, Rabbi Isai. Great Shushan Purim. See you later.